I'm really excited about today's show because we have two officially licensed Sega Genesis and Mega Drive games that only got their official worldwide release a few years ago. My name's Mike, and this is the Retro Gamer Boy Show. Welcome back to the Retro Gamer Boy Show, and yes, we have two officially licensed games for the Sega Genesis and Mega Drive. Now before we get into those, if you love your retro gaming, your Sega Genesis and Mega Drive, then please help by supercharging this channel and sharing this video and clicking on all the different YouTube buttons around the screen. A few years ago, a publisher called Pico Interactive acquired the rights for two Mega Drive games. One was called Water Margin, The Tale of Cloud and Wind, and the other was Brave Battle Saga, The Legend of the Magic Warrior. One is a brawler, the other is a JRPG. Now you've been able to pick up the physical and digital version of this game for a few years now, but if you're a physical collector, then you'll want to pick up these versions of the game from Pixel Heart. These two games are stunningly presented, and the versions that I've picked up are from Pixel Heart. Now, Pixel Heart for me do the best boxed physical games for the Sega Mega Drive and Genesis. And you can pick these up from other retailers, other publishers, and they'll have different kinds of artwork and different kinds of box quality. But for me, Pixel Heart are the definitive when it comes to providing high quality artwork. Now, if you were to compare these to the versions that you can pick up in other places, you'll notice that the artwork is nowhere near as good. Here we can see like a manga style artwork running across both of them, and something that I really love about this, coloured spines. Now, we're used to obviously blue or red or black spines or even white spines with the EA classics, but these coloured spines look so beautiful and stunning to look at. Now as we move to the back of the box, we can see that Pixel Heart has opted for the original black branding of the Sega Mega Drive. Now again, when it comes to physical games, aftermarket games, I love the Pixel Heart branding, but not only the branding, also the presentation of the box here. These guys do a stunning job with the physical packaging of these games. The plastic that you see on the outside here isn't that horrible shiny plastic or heavy pitted plastic that you find on other games. This is almost unrecognizable from the original type of plastic you get on your original Sega Genesis and Mega Drive games. And the boxes are the same. Now, whilst they're not official Sega boxes with the branding down the side there, they're as close as you can get. The quality of the plastic, the way it's set out inside is brilliant. Now, you do get a manual with all of their games. Love manuals with my games. This is a black and white manual with a full color sleeve on the outside here. And you can see it's dual printed. And again, presentation is lovely in these games. Two languages within the manuals. I think it's French and English that you get with the manuals, and a nice bit of artwork at the back there as well. And the same goes with the cartridge. Cartridge has a lovely label print on there with the main artwork on there. We've got the title along the top there, if you're someone that likes to have your titles on the top of your cartridges there. And it is a universal cartridge that they print on, so you can use this for your Sega Genesis and your Sega Mega Drive. The same quality can be found with Brave Battle Saga, The Legend of the Magical Warrior. Again, amazing artwork on the front here. I really do love this coloured artwork running down the spine here, the picture wrapping around. And again, we've got manual and cartridge. Manual's the same sort of thing as we found with Water Margin. We've got this full coloured inlay here, and then two languages explaining everything you need to know about the game. And then on the back here, we've got a credits page, and again, some really nice artwork on there. So we've taken a look at the box art. Let's take a look at the games, starting with Water Margin. Now, Water Margin, A Tale of Cloud and Wind is a game released in China only in 1999. Now, this game is a brawler beat-em-up, much in the same vein as Golden Axe. The game is based on a famous Chinese novel about outlaws who are pardoned by the emperor and used to help fight off invaders. The game has not had an official release outside of China until Pico Interactive purchased the rights and officially re-released the game a few years ago. Water Margin is very similar to Golden Axe and borrows elements from Streets of Rage 2. The combat is more brawler based, with characters being armed to the teeth with pointy weapons. Combat gameplay is very satisfying, although I wish your character's single hit move was a little longer and the animation of the weapon carried on through, rather than stopping just above the waist of your enemy. It just doesn't feel as satisfying. However, combat is amazing and well fleshed out. You have a single attack, a 3-button combo, a 2-button special, a run attack, a run and jump attack, a jump attack, and an array of magic attacks. The jump attack is really satisfying as you can attack at any point in the air. Magic is equally satisfying with full screen effects of either fire, ice or lightning. You collect magic items as you progress through the level, and at any point you can choose to use one of your items by pressing the A button, then selecting which magic item you want to use, and then pressing A again to cast it. There seems to be some variations to the magic spells as well. I've at least once seen 2 variations of the lightning magic, both of which were very cool to watch on screen. The enemies are also really varied, with a ton of different attack styles. You've got CQC fighters, long-range archers, tanks, rush tanks, rapid-fire enemies, and mid-range enemies. You'll switch up your combat style to take on each one. You'll also find times where you're being mobbed by 6 or 7 characters at once, and a decent dose of fire magic can be useful in these situations. I love the graphics in this game. It reminds me of those SNK and Neo Geo games that were ported over to the Sega Genesis and Mega Drive, although maybe with a little less pixel density. The sprites are nice and big with some vibrant colour palettes. There are a large number of sprites on screen, and I counted up to 5 enemies in one scene at once, with some huge characters making an appearance. The art style is closer to manga than your traditional fantasy style, and the vibrant colours really help the game lean into this style. The levels at times are gorgeous to walk through, with some lovely background and foreground parallax scrolling and environmental animations. As you make your way through the levels, you'll also pass landmark features like a huge waterfall or a castle off in the distance, helping to ground the universe of the game. The full screen magic effects are a visual feast. Your entire world is replaced with an elemental plane where your enemies take their final breath. Lightning and ice are the most visually impressive, with there being at least 2 variations for the lightning effect. As your enemies burn, fry and freeze, you'll see a full colour cycle effect run over them as they take damage from your magic. And then another effect encases the enemies as the magic resolves itself, with the character either being encased in ice or an electricity attack putting their skeletal structure on display to fire wrapping itself around them. I've got to say though, the fire and electricity deaths look suspiciously similar to Street Fighter 2. The game also has some nice narrative presentation, with some still cell cutscenes between levels. Now whilst gameplay and art are great to amazing, audio is fair to poor. The background soundtracks are okay, they're competently scored, but don't really do a great job of enhancing the mood of the game. But the soundtrack is better than the game's audio effects, which are poor. The enemy death sounds distorted and scratchy, damage items don't sound great, and the weapon sounds are merely competent. With the amount of effort that went into the rest of this game, the audio is a real letdown. Brave Battle Saga: The Legend of the Magic Warrior is a game that was released in the mid-90s and only in Taiwan. It's another game like Water Margin that has only recently received its worldwide release. The game is a JRPG set in an alternative universe where demons and humans coexist. The world has suffered a catastrophe and technology has been lost to the ages. The story now focuses in on our young hero Tim. Tim is embarking on a coming-of-age ritual when he's wrongly accused of killing one of the other boys in the village. Outraged, the village banish him, and our journey begins. Right from the start, Magic Warrior is comparable to some of the bigger JRPGs we find on the Sega Genesis and Mega Drive. It is everything you'd expect from a JRPG. party members, weapons and gear upgrades, summons, magic, item use, exploration, dungeons, and towns to explore. It's really quite impressive and amazing how this game didn't get a release outside of Taiwan back in the day. Now, I'm only 5 hours into the game, but I've been reliably informed that this game has about 25 hours to 40 hours of gameplay, depending on how much you do in it. Combat in the game is very reminiscent of Final Fantasy VII, with an active time bar filling up before you can take your turn. You can have up to 4 members in your party, and rather than random encounters, there are demons wandering around the land that you can choose to engage with. I really like this. It allows me to skip enemies if I'm in a hurry or if I need to avoid a battle so that I don't die. And talking about dying, don't worry if you do, as the game comes with multiple save slots. Now, I've come across a number of sub-bosses in the game. Once you defeat these sub-bosses, you're able to capture them and use them in summons during normal battle, and they come in really handy, definitely during some of the harder battles. Whilst I've not completed the game and experienced everything it has to offer, Magic Warrior is shaping up to be a very solid JRPG. The graphics in this game are superb, easily up there with some of the best JRPG titles you'll find on Sega's 16-bit console. The overworld and dungeons are just full of details, and I love wandering around the towns, soaking up the atmosphere. Battle encounter environments reflect the location you're in and are isometrically presented, which makes the battles feel more dynamic. The standard enemies are, well, standard, and the bosses get some extra interesting visual design. Your characters are represented graphically different when you're walking around in the overworld and when you're in battle encounters. When you're running across the world, your character is a chibi-like character, and when you go into battles, it has more of a manga art style. As a JRPG, there are plenty of particle sprites with different magic options and status effects, and these again are well drawn and at times visually impressive. Overall, I'm thrilled with the presentation of the game, and it reminds me of some of the early 2D PS1 JRPGs. The audio is a letdown. While the soundtrack is okay, it's not very varied, which means it leads to a lot of repetition throughout the game. I find that the battle wind music is particularly uninspiring and annoying, and tried to skip it as soon as I can. Even worse though are the sound effects during battle. These are minimal to the point that they serve no purpose at all and don't reinforce what's happening on screen. The magic sounds and sword hits are so weak that they have a really negative effect on the intensity of the battle. I feel that with just a little bit more work on the sound effects, and the battles could have been lifted into the realms of the truly great JRPGs. Now, whilst both games have their faults, both games are still excellent. Water Margin is a stunning beat-em-up brawler and would sit perfectly alongside my other Mega Drive games in the same genre. Magic Warrior is an awesome JRPG, and it's amazing that this game didn't get a worldwide release when it originally came out. both these games are official releases, and so for me, count towards the official full collection, whether you're a Genesis or Mega Drive owner. And if you're interested in collecting either one of these games, I definitely recommend that you check out Pixel Heart first. For me, the build quality and presentation of this company are second to none. And when you compare them to some of the other releases that you can pick out there, other official releases you can get out there, then these guys are leagues ahead of them. That's it for this week's show. If you've enjoyed it, make sure you hit all those buttons again. And if you're new to the channel and you love retro gaming, you love the Sega Mega Drive or the Genesis, then why not consider subscribing? You can do that by clicking on a little button just below this video. Now, we put out brand new shows every single Monday, and so that you never miss one, you can also click on a little bell just below this video. If you can't wait until Monday, don't worry, we've got a huge back catalogue of retro gaming videos for you to enjoy, 2 of which you can watch over here.